friends, and welcome inside to League Unlock. Eric and Mark with you today, looking ahead to the semifinals in North America, and we got a rematch of the Spring Split Finals, one round earlier, this time in semis. 100 Thieves taking on Team Liquid, and Liquid has had 100 Thieves number since the first time they met up in the Spring Split in week 3, I believe it was. They won 6 games in a row since then. So obviously they're coming in as big favorites, and that's the main reason they picked 100 Thieves over TSM.
I think it's because Team Liquid doesn't have the courage to take on someone like Kevin Yarnell Hanser up in the top lane, judging by some tweets maybe.
I think you pick the team that you've won 6 games in a row against, and in this split, obviously they're 2-0. They've had some very different games that they played this split, but you look at this average game time, almost 5 minutes shorter for Liquid.
Yeah, jokes aside, I'd have to say would probably be fired here if you did not select 100 Thieves as your opponent. Given that you've won the last 6 against them, there's no way that you're not picking them. And I think one of the main advantages here in this matchup that I really want to talk about, happening right there.
No Vlad, please.
The bot lane. Yeah,
No
don't
Vlad.
give us Vlad, but of course it's going to be Doublelift into Cody Sun. That's my important matchup. I think Cody Sun has shown a lot of improvement. I think he's better than Len a lot of times, and kind of the Reddit community, so to call, gives him that flack for, but he has struggled lately. He hasn't really had the performances or impact that you would need to have on this level of a team from your AD carry position, especially with how the meta is shaping up in North America even more so. And I think that this is going to be a matchup that once again, Team Liquid is going to have to put on and say, hey, Doublelift, we need you to be the carry for us. Of course, it's only happened every other victory this split. Let's do it again.
Yeah, it's been their theme in 2018 summer. And if you remember, the second time these teams played was when Xmithie got completely destroyed in the early game. He had your regular solo queue jungler is tilted off the face of the earth, and they are not playing the rest of the game. They're AFKing, but they bounce back from that and are just way behind, but still come from behind. You can see the relief, and that was for first place on the line. So 100 Thieves, even with these big early game leads, they just can't seem to topple the summit that is Team Liquid, whether it's something mental when they face up against these guys. But Doublelift has said there's really no rivalry because they've only lost once to them in 7 games.
Well, it certainly
it's not a rivalry.
Can't be a rivalry unless the 100 Thieves step up and take some more victories. And one way that they can step up and get some victories here against Team Liquid and hopefully take the series is in the top lane matchup. Looking at Someday, of course, this has got to be the daddy, the big MVP for the summer split. Needs to be Someday, and he needs to be able to take advantage of Impact, who has looked weak on some of these carries in recent weeks.
Yeah, the big advantage for 100 Thieves is Someday in the top lane, Doublelift in the bottom lane for Liquid. That's why the key matchup for this one comes down to the mid lane, and who's going to have the advantages there, because these guys, I mean, Ryu and Pobelter are both mid laners who are kind of, you know, the middle of the pack. A lot of the guys say they're not the featured carries on their squads. They are the neutralizers. But if you look at that quarterfinal matchup, Ryu was absolutely popping off and was the MVP, player of the series, deservedly so for 100 Thieves. If he plays like that again, maybe 100 Thieves have a chance.
And that's the crazy thing. Heading into this one, I almost would never really pick, almost against anybody left in the playoffs, I don't think I'd pick Ryu to have the advantage over. But right now, heading into this matchup against Pobelter, and given the performances that Ryu has had in the last week or two, I'm going to side with Ryu in this one, giving him the advantage heading into this matchup. I think that he can have the pressure in that mid lane to keep Pobelter down early and provide an outlet of pressure for the 100 Thieves to try and get some advantages.
Yeah, and Pobelter, I mean, we've seen him in playoff runs before, just all of a sudden get a playoff buff, completely pop off on the Azir, but I might give a slight edge to Ryu as well in this matchup, just because he looked so fantastic in that quarterfinal round matchup. But I think Team Liquid's still going to get it done. I give 100 Thieves, they win game 1, but they're still going to drop 3-1. Liquid, I think they just got a more talented roster.
Yeah, I'm once again going with the 4-game series here, and it's going to be Team Liquid, Doublelift, getting to those finals once again, edging out the 100 Thieves. But hey, 100 Thieves, they've got to end this 6-game run here. They're going to pick up a victory in this series. So that's some type of consolation, right?
It's a mental gain for them for sure. So you got Liquid TSM in the finals. I'm going C9 Liquid. TSM Liquid. I mean, that would be what the NA script writers would want to have the matchup. The Bjergsen versus Doublelift for 5 games. But either way, these semifinals are sure to be fully hype here in the NALCS. But that's all the time today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.